All right, today we're diving into just 4 verses from the Sermon on the Mount. But believe me, these verses pack a serious punch. They really make you look past what you're doing and ask a much tougher question. Why are you doing it? What's the real motivation? Let's get into it.
So let's just start with this question right out of the gate. Can a good deed actually be a bad thing? I mean, at first glance, you'd think, no way. A good deed is a good deed. But Jesus, in his teaching here, suggests it's a lot more complicated than that. He's setting up this core tension between the action itself and the intention behind it.
Okay, so that brings us to our first big idea. And what's so interesting is that Jesus doesn't start by condemning good works. I mean, giving to the poor, giving alms, was a pillar of Jewish religious life back then. It was expected, even commanded. But instead of focusing on the what, he goes a level deeper and asks, why are you doing it? He's immediately trying to shift our focus from the outside show to what's going on inside our hearts.
Verse 1 lays it all out, and it is sharp. It's a direct warning. Be careful not to perform your acts of charity just to put on a show for other people. Because if your goal is to be seen, to get that applause, Jesus says that praise is the only thing you're going to get. Any reward from God? Yep, that's completely off the table.
So, let's be absolutely clear. The problem isn't the act of giving. Giving is good. The issue is the why behind it. If the engine driving your charity is a need for praise, for a good reputation, or, in our world, for likes and shares, then the whole act changes. It's not really about charity anymore. It becomes a transaction for your own glory, and in that deal, you've already been paid in full.
Now, to make his point impossible to miss, Jesus paints this incredibly vivid picture of exactly what not to do. And in doing so, he introduces one of the most famous and most cutting words in his entire vocabulary: the hypocrite.
The imagery here is just incredible, isn't it? Do not sound a trumpet. Now, this was likely a colorful exaggeration, though some historians point out that the collection boxes in the temple were actually shaped like trumpets. But either way, you get the picture, right? It's a loud, look-at-me performance done in the most public places possible, the synagogues and out on the streets. And the goal is stated so clearly that they may have glory of men.
And this is where the word hypocrite gets really fascinating. It comes straight from the Greek word hypokrites, which literally means an actor or a stage player. Isn't that brilliant? It perfectly captures Jesus' point. A hypocrite isn't just someone who doesn't practice what they preach. It's someone who is performing. They're wearing a mask of piety for an audience, playing the part of a righteous person instead of actually being one.
And Jesus says, look, these actors, they get exactly what they're after. That phrase, verily I say unto you, they have their reward, it's like stamping a receipt, paid in full. Their payment is the immediate but very temporary praise from the crowd. The transaction is over. There's nothing left for God to reward.
So, if sounding a trumpet is the wrong way, what's the right way? Well, Jesus doesn't just offer a minor tweak. He lays out this radically different approach to giving. It's a method that is so private, so sincere, it feels almost countercultural, not just back then, but especially today.
This has to be one of the most famous metaphors in the entire Bible. Let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. Just think about that. It suggests a level of secrecy so deep that you don't even pause to congratulate yourself. The act of giving should be so pure, so unself-conscious, that one part of you is basically unaware of what the other part just did.
And this table just lays the contrast out so starkly. You've got two paths. On one side, the hypocrite's way. It's all public, it's loud, it's about getting human glory, and the reward is instant. Then you have the disciples' way. It's secret, it's anonymous, it's all about seeking God's approval, and it's waiting for a totally different kind of reward. It's a choice between two completely different value systems.
So this leads us to the final piece of the puzzle. What's the outcome of all this secret charity? What exactly is this lasting reward that Jesus is promising?
And here is the beautiful conclusion to the whole idea. Your giving is done in secret, but that doesn't mean it's unseen. The only audience who really matters, thy Father which seeth in secret, he sees it all. And then comes the twist. What is done in secret, he will reward openly. This suggests a reward that isn't just a fleeting round of applause, but something far more real, public, and permanent.
When you boil it all down, the takeaway from just these 4 verses is incredibly powerful. True devotion, real righteousness, it's not about the performance. It's not for your social media feed or for your neighbors to see. It's about the quiet, humble direction of your heart toward God, who is the only one who sees and truly values what's done in secret.
And that really leaves us with one final, piercing question to think about, a question that's just as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. When we give, whether it's our money, our time, or our energy, who is our true audience?